Hello.
Hi, Seth.
Hi, Mary.
I'm in a good mood.
Yes, I sort of expected that.
I'm excited about our phone call today.
In fact, you're actually sounding a little more restrained than I expected you to. I expected you to be kind of like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
I'm oh my godding on the inside.
Oh, good
This
for you.
actually is like this is a big deal to me. Like this is here's me like hopping in my time machine and going back to my 11-year-old self and being like, you're totally gonna like get on the phone with Amanda Stepto and it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, Amanda Stepto is Spike, of course. That's who we're calling today. And
See. She was on the original old school Degrassi when she was the pregnant teenager who gave birth to Emma,
right.
and it was all very huge and intense. And she was the coolest person on TV. Her and her best friend on the show, the character's name was Liz O'Rourke, who was this total Chelsea fringe skin chick, and they were awesome. And like I remember the day I discovered Degrassi
Oh yeah.
because it was memorable. I'm gonna tell her about it. I'm gonna save it for her.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, why don't we just let's just we don't there's not a new episode to talk about this week, so why don't we just call
Sure.
her and you can
I'll
take
fan
your
out
oh
on
my
her.
godding from the inside to the outside.
Woo woo! All right, I'm gonna call her.
Hello?
Hi, Amanda.
Yes.
Hey, it's Mary and Seth from theend.com.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi,
I'm
Amanda.
good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
I'm. I have to admit to you that I'm kind of fanning out a little bit because when I was a kid, I watched Degrassi on PBS in the U.S. And like the whole reason I watched it was basically because of your and Liz O'Rourke's hair, or Cathy
Oh,
Keenan.
nice.
Totally. I was like scanning through the channels one day and I saw these two girls with the coolest hair I'd ever seen in my entire life. And I was like, what is this show? And I had to watch it. It was
Yeah, it's
awesome.
pretty funny. Even when I look back at the 80s and stuff like that, and I see myself on the show, and I hate things about me, but I still love the hair.
Totally.
Totally love the hair.
You're like, I was cool.
I want to get the hair question out of the way then. How long did it take you to do the hair every day?
It really took me like 5 minutes.
Really?
Oh my
Because I
God.
just like bent over, had final net hairspray. They don't carry it anymore because I swear it blinded people.
Yeah.
And just blew it dry. You know, it took me way more time to do my hair when I didn't have it up. Because I'm like,
Huh.
what do I do with my hair? I don't know. It's so boring.
And was that, I mean, you were kind of cast for that role because that was your hair in real life, right?
Well, yeah, I totally had that hair in real life, and I auditioned for the show that way.
Yeah.
But in the first season, I didn't have a character till maybe halfway through.
Oh, okay.
And it was actually the character Wheels, played by Neil Hope, that gave me the nickname Spike.
Oh, no way.
So it just caught on, and that became my character name, too.
And then next thing you knew, you were pregnant.
And the next thing I knew, it happened that quickly.
Awesome. I was just reading this like interview with you from, it looks like it was maybe right after college. And it's really interesting because it's like kind of this time warp thing where you're talking about how like you don't want to, you're not really into acting anymore and like you'll
Yeah.
only do it if the right role comes along. So
I was
was
just about to say, did I sound jaded and bitter? Yeah, did I sound like I said, yeah.
there's an awesome part where you're talking about how like you went on a catwalk audition, which was this like old, like Canadian
Oh,
kind of 90210 kind of show, right? And like
yeah.
it says you messed up the audition on purpose
On
'cause it was
purpose?
cheesy.
Yeah. See, doing those things wasn't such a good idea. Had I, known and could go back in time and all those auditions that I had way too much attitude for, if I could just have not shown up, maybe that would have been better. But, it's a small world, and yeah, that would be my advice to new younger actors. Don't blow chances like that. People tend to remember you, and they don't know that you were just, you had a lot of attitude. All they remember is, wow, that girl really sucked. Yeah.
And also you taught English in Japan for a year?
Yeah, I did.
How was that?
That was an awesome experience. Like, I've always loved traveling, and when I finished university, I was just like, okay, I've been trapped in school for 5 years, and I want to travel, but I have no money because I'm a student, and where can I go and work? And so I went to Japan and lived outside of Tokyo, and it was crazy and awesome, and I love Tokyo.
So you don't have to know any Japanese to go and do that?
Not in Tokyo. Like, a lot of people know English. They're quite shy though, but can draw it out of them. And I did a lot of pointing,
Uh-huh.
Instead of speaking, because I butchered the language. There are a lot of words that sound similar, but they have complete opposite meaning. So when you think you're saying pretty, you're saying I hate something.
Oh no.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like words like that. So I just chose to point.
That's a really unfair language to have the words make the exact opposite of what you mean. It's like it's set up to screw you over.
Exactly.
What happened in between teaching English for a year and Degrassi Next Generation?
You know what? Not a lot of time elapsed because I think once I got back, within a couple of months, I was called by my agent and the producers of the old show. Well, some of them, like Linda Schuyler, had said they were thinking of doing The Next Generation, and would I be interested? I'm like, wow, that sounds pretty cool. I'm intrigued.
Totally.
And so what do you know? Like 7 years later or 8 years later, we're in season 8. It's like wildly popular and it's pretty insane.
Yeah. Was it weird to think of Emma as being like a, middle school aged human being instead of just like the little toddler on the show,
It was absolutely bizarre. And even, being on set that first week, and, I was around Pat and Stefan and Anais and Stacy, all us old schoolers. And, we were labeled the classic cast from day one. And I'm like, yeah, but didn't they get rid of Classic Coke? I don't know if that's the name. And, we have all these new young actors, and they actually have acting experience, unlike us when we started the show. So it took kind of, a little bit to adjust to the new show because it was the same but different.
Right.
Now it has its own life and its own entity now.
Is the vibe between the young cast now similar to what the vibe was between you guys when you were teenagers and shooting, or is it different in any way?
I'd say it was pretty similar. You have friendships that get made, and some people hang out with others more often. With me being on the show, I'm not really there when a lot of other characters are there because I'm like the homebound mom and stuff. So, all my scenes generally tend to be with Miriam and Stefan for the most part. So I miss out on all the good stuff.
Aww.
Yeah, I hear the stories after they happen. Well, months after they happen.
But so when you guys, like on the original Degrassi, I can just imagine a bunch of teenagers who aren't necessarily professional actors, like just running around on set. Like that must have been so much fun.
Oh, yeah. We were bad. We were so bad because we had a much larger cast because we had like a repertoire. So there was 50 to 60 of us. And, it was kind of like being in brat camp. With one person looking after everybody, right? Like, I pity the people who had to kind of keep us in rein back then.
Oh, my God.
We were pretty wild. But like I said, no acting experience and just kind of doing what we wanted. And
right. Finding empty sets to hang out on.
Yeah, we're not in school.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you and the girl who played Liz, her name's Cathy Keenan, right?
Yes, yeah.
I read that you guys were really good friends in real life too.
Yeah, we are. We are good friends. She's. It's so funny when you think of how you were as kids, like when we were teenagers and stuff, and now, and people's kind of journeys into adulthood. And Cathy was such a little rebel.
Yeah.
That now she's a peace-loving yoga instructor, and she's just like an awesome, awesome woman.
That's so cool. So you guys still see each other regularly?
Yeah.
That's so rad. Were you guys friends because of Degrassi, or had you met before?
No, we had never met before. And, you get on set and you're like, who's like me?
Yeah.
How many punk rock people were in the 80s? Not very many. So it's like, gravitate towards each other.
Yeah, see, back to the hair. I gotta tell you, like, all those sitcoms on at the time, like, they all had the punk episode where, Ricky Schroeder wore socks that didn't match and, like, put orange spray in his hair. And it was like, he's a punk rocker. And then
I know.
You flip on Degrassi.
Posers. That was my name for them. Total posers.
Totally. And then you flip the channel and, like, Liz has a Chelsea Fringe haircut on PBS.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
blew my mind. I'm sorry. I'm obsessed with the hair. I can't stop talking about it.
She would totally threaten me that she would knock me out if I didn't do her hair properly too. So
Wait, you had to shave it? That's awesome.
yeah, every once in a while, but man, I was forewarned. I didn't do it properly. I was getting hit.
So there was another great quote in this interview that I read where they asked you if you could write a sequel to Degrassi, how would you have Spike's life turn out? And you said, yeah, no, it's kind of awesome. You said Spike would graduate university, have a half decent job, and the ability to raise Emma without being dependent on a man. She could be involved with a man.
I was smart.
Right? And that's exactly what
Yeah.
happened. So she could be involved with man, but she would have the resources to make it on her own, which is totally what happened.
That's pretty cool.
I wonder if
bet
they
you read that. They use that as a springboard for the new series. Yeah, I'm going to market it that way.
I think they totally did. So I mean, I guess it goes without saying, like, are you happy with how Spike's life has turned out?
You know, it's so funny. I still have a lot of attitude for someone who's older, and on set I'm usually like, Spike's a yuppie. Try to do something like wild. She's so tame, and I feel like a caged animal. I just want to break out. And so I'm always trying to get them to write a scene for me where I get to break something or, you know, do something wild, but it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, man.
Let's hope for this season.
Awesome.
You should just start breaking things, you know.
That's true. You know, we might only have one more season in us. Like, what's going to happen?
Right.
All right. I'm going to say you told me to do it, though, just in case.
Yeah. Emma walks in and says, "What's for dinner?" And then you just like put your fist through the window.
That totally sounds like a scene I would want to do. Because that would mean we'd have to delve into why did she do something like that? What's wrong with her life?
Right.
We saw like your tattoo on your calf, I think, in a recent episode.
Yes.
Those are real, right?
Oh, yes, I like tattoos. My guilty little pleasure.
I can
What,
tell you.
like-
I'm sorry. I was going to say I can tell you that it became something of a topic of conversation amongst the fans when you did the webisode with the guys from
Taking Back
Taking
Sunday.
Back Sunday.
Yeah.
And
Oh, my God, that was like the funnest day on set ever.
Was it?
He dipped you over to kiss you, and then your leg went out, and everyone saw the tattoo, and they're like, "Look at that!"
Yeah. I know. I got a lot of emails like, "Is that real? Is that real? Those tattoos real?" And I still read stuff, and then what's even funnier is like reading people's responses. Oh yeah, and she's got this here and this there. I'm like, how do they know that? You know? So yeah, I'm kind of covered in tattoos, but I try to hide most of them for things. But Degrassi, they feel they're in Spike's character, so we don't need to hide them or cover them up.
Did you know who those guys in Taking Back Sunday were? Did like the producer just say, "Okay, there's this rock band and they're in love with you, so you have to, we're writing this mini for them."
Well, it's kind of like the latter one. Like, I got this email. There's this band that's coming to town. They really want to be on the show, and they like your character, and they would love it if you could come to the show. And then I'm like, I'm going to check them out because I'm kind of a snob when it comes to the music I like. And so I listened to them. I'm like, wow, I really like these guys. Why haven't I heard of them before? So went to see the show, and it was completely awesome. And, within a month, they're flying back and being on our show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anyone besides? I know there was like a Skank and Pickle song about Spike.
Yeah.
Are there any other that you know of? Any other bands with Spike obsessions or?
It's so funny. There were a lot of bands in the late 80s and 90s, all in the kind of punk and underground scene where if I showed up to a hardcore show and there were, 5 girls there, because that's how many girls went to hardcore shows.
Mm-hmm.
If someone told the band who I was, they're like, "Oh my God, I'm from New York. I love that show. I watch it on whatever channel." Well, I know what channel. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but Sunday mornings at 10.
Right.
So it had a huge, my character specifically in the kind of punk and alternative scene, with a lot of bands.
I know. I was kind of surprised when Kevin Smith was going on and on about like guys that were obsessed with Caitlyn. Like everyone I knew was obsessed with Spike.
You know what's so weird? It's like I find it's either Spike or Caitlyn.
Yeah.
So and Stacy and I are really, really good friends, right? And we hang out all the time. So it'll be funny because like we'll have a guy come up to us, and now that when we go out together, we're much more recognizable.
Yeah.
And it'll be like the guy will kind of push in between us and then turn to either one of us. If it's Stacy they have a crush on, like, oh, I loved your character and you're so beautiful, and then they'll push me out of the way, or vice versa. Like, it's very cut and dry. Like, no, it can't be both of you. It's only one of you, so we'll be like, yours this time, or, yeah.
Are you able to predict which one of you they're going to go for? Like, when they're 3 feet away, you're like, oh, this is the Caitlin guy.
Yeah, because it's the stare. Who are they staring at? Not me. Yeah, we have a little game going on. But we don't add up the points or anything, because that would just be wrong.
So wait, talking about music snobbery, what are your favorite bands? What kind of music do you listen to?
It's so funny. I listened to all the same bands I did in the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So, Social Distortion, Sick of It All, Madball,
Sick of It All?
Revenge, NoFX.
Oh my God!
Like, Mike Ness is my god. I love.
Why am I surprised? Like, of course.
So just all in that kind of vein, and still I grew up in the 80s, so I still love my Depeche Mode, The Cure, and Stacey and I actually DJ once a month at an 80s night in Toronto, and we just have the best time because we just play music we want to hear.
Oh my God.
Nice.
And hope that people like it, which apparently they do, so it's not so bad.
I'm totally going to Toronto. I'm totally going to that night. It's so fun. All right. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Oh, no problem.
Yes, thank you.
Seriously, a big thrill for me. I hope we'll talk to you again soon.
We'll chat later for part 2.
Okay, awesome.
Great.
Okay.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Why am I even surprised that she was Sick of It All and Madball girl? Of course she was. She's the reason I was cool. Why do I think
You two are kindred spirits. Or maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just that you owe who you are to her. Did you ever think of that?
Much. Her and my sister.
In the when Degrassi was on when I was that age, I admittedly did not watch it, but maybe I would have had the same effect because I had a mullet and Wheels had a mullet, and I might have turned on and been like, look at that guy with the glasses and mullet. He's just like me. In fact, someone recently, a friend of mine who did watch it, had this revelation. He said, you're Wheels! You even look like Wheels! And he went and found, Googled pictures of Wheels to show me how I look like Wheels.
How Wheels-esque you were.
And the truth is, he's not wrong.
I really need to see a picture of this mullet, Seth.
No, you really don't.
I really do.
Oh.
It's on the agenda.
Okay.
I'm going to start bringing it up every week until I see it.
All right, fine. Well, I'm glad you were able to realize your dream today, Mary.
Me too. That was really fun. It was kind of she was cooler than I thought she was going to be too. She's awesome. That turned out just the way I wanted it to.
All right, I'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Have a good weekend.
See ya.
Bye.